All right. So, this is the Trunk or Treat live show Candy Jam presentation walkthrough. So, the goal of this is to walk through almost every single element that's going to be involved in the presentation aspects of the live show for Trunk or Treat. So, in order to do this, there's going to be a few docs that you're going to want to be in possession of or have access to. One of these is just the Planning Center sheet. This will be an important one because we'll have all of our times that we'll be able to run through on the back. We'll also have a script. Oh, I have notifications showing up. We will also have a script called the Candy Jam Script 2021. Then also over here, I will be showing some of this. This gives some layouts of what's happening with the stage, mainly for the games, and just so you're understanding what this looks like. If this is like the balcony, and we're not really going to be using the part underneath the balcony. This would be like the main part of the stage. Over here is where like the blue doors are. This is where like that back part of the stage is. The screen would be right over here. I think you can kind of pick up on where we're getting at with this. So the goal is just to give you some reference of what the layouts are going to be so that whenever we're setting stuff up, people know where to put things, and we're not trying to question any of that in the moment. So we're going to get started by going through every single element on here, and as needed, I'll just provide some more explanation. So at the beginning, we'll be doing some type of a group game. That might be like a zoomed in game that we're getting a majority of the crowd involved with, or it might be jump rope competitions. The jump rope competitions will have a layout similar to this. We'll have kids on the floor. Kids are always going to be represented by green dots. Our presenters and team members will be presented by the blue dots. So we'll have something like that. Whenever it finally gets time, we'll have a 1 minute countdown. We'll have our presenters go off stage. We will bring the lights down a little bit. It plays some really fun, like little Looney Tunes stuff. There's some lighting cues that will go along with this countdown. So it's not like the lights are staying like that the whole time. So at the 10-second mark, the lights change. There's a drop after. So the 1 minute countdown and intro video are technically one video. The 1 minute countdown goes directly into the intro video. There's a drop halfway through, and then it comes out with the intro. And then we have some of our presenters come out for the beginning of our skits. Now, the big thing that happens in this skit is Corbin, and that's one of the only presenters we have predetermined, will hit some type of button. Whether or not he hits a button on stage or hits a button off stage or goes backstage and hits a button, we'll have some kind of like fun moment where that happens. Whenever he hits that button, there is a skit button lighting cue and a skit 1 video cue. The person who's going to be running Pro Presenter is just going to hit the skit part 1 video. That will be the video that shows Corbin going into this virtual reality stuff and showing up in all this stuff. So we don't have it scripted in here right now, but whenever that video is going on, we'll have whoever's on stage interacting with that video. Just kind of responding to it, being like, Corbin, why are you in Star Wars? Like, what happened? All that kind of stuff. And then at the end of that, there's a really clear point where the Candy Jam logo comes back on screen with Back to the Future music underneath it because we can. And then we will transition into the Bugs Timeout 3-pointer. For this game, our layout's going to be pretty simple. We will have already had some of our presenters out on stage on the balcony. But we're going to want 3 specific people out there to represent each one of those things just to help have some continuity. The stage is going to be lit in 3 different spots. So the color scheme of that is like a red, blue, green. So it'll be, as far as I remember, it's red over on this side of the stage, green over on this side, and blue in the middle. So that'll just be a fun game that we're able to do with that. The rules of that are pretty simple. It's basically a 1-arm, 2-arm, none game. So we can get everybody involved. We'll have people in the audience like participating and helping out with it. And whoever the last person is standing or last 2 people, we'll have some prizes that we're able to give out for that. So after that, we'll have some of our presenters go off stage. Then we will have a rules intro video. It's not listed in here right now, but it will be. A rules intro video with Corbin. So stage will black out. Corbin will start that off, and then as soon as that like ends and the rules thing shows up on the screen, then we'll have a presenter come back on stage and interact specifically with Corbin. And the goal of that is to make it feel like we're legitimately talking to somebody on screen. So it's not just some random video. We want to make it feel like it's a very live element. So we want to be like, Corbin, we can't believe you got stuck in there, but can you tell me what rule number 1 is? And then he'll be able to say it from there. So that's kind of the dialogue we want to have happen there. The 4th rule, we are skipping it from having your name tag on. We're going to want to add in a small little note there that Corbin forgot that we have to like wear a name tag, because at that point, whenever we were creating some of these graphics, we were unsure whether or not we were going to have people wearing name tags. There will be a kid section, so we want to make sure that we at least acknowledge that. Otherwise, there could be some kid that's like, oh, well, I don't got to do this. So we want to at least acknowledge that and be like, I think we still have to do our name tags, but we want to say that before rule number 4. So whoever's doing that, we'll just want to make a quick note of that. But whenever we're actually doing this, similar to how we've been doing a lot of the other rules videos, at the very end, there's like this Let's Groove by Earth, Wind & Fire remix that we have. We want to get everybody involved with that. We don't have to stick with that like super harsh. It goes like 2.5 minutes. We should not hold it out and like be going crazy for 2.5 minutes. We can fade the music out and fade it down after we have whatever we have planned for that. So we'll have something, or let's plan to have something with our presenters that will get everybody engaged. And then after about 45 seconds-ish, we'll have somebody in the back bring down the music and be like, all right, guys, we're now going to get to like our next thing with worship. And there's some specific ways to be able to communicate what we're doing there with worship, of like how to transition some of that moment. So then we'll do Put Your Hands Up and Brighter. You'll see for the cues here, for some of these, like rules 1 through 3 and rules 4, and even these up here, these lighting cues, these are pretty basic ones. None of these so far have been anything, we haven't really thrown any curveballs that are like huge. So just game 1 loop and then Bugs timeout 3-pointer. Each one correlates to a color and that matches whatever video gets hit. Rules 1 through 3 is a pretty basic one that we're used to doing. Rule number 4. For worship, we have probably, if I'm remembering correctly, almost 7 cues for each song, which is not a lot, but they're specifically matching up to the intro, verse, chorus, bridge, instrumental, those types of elements to the songs. So for each one, it'll say like S1 intro, S1 verse, S1. So like they're all labeled for like song 1 and then song 2 cues. So they're all in order, so nobody's going to have to be going like back and forth between stuff. So they'll be able to just keep hitting the next one for these, but there will be more cues for those 2 worship songs. Then after that, we will have an intro video for Basket the Ball. That'll be like the start of the game, so we'll have like some transition after that of presenter being like, all right, now we're going to do some awesome stuff and get started with our games. Then they'll peace out on stage, and we'll have people getting started with some of the stuff. So the first game, Basket the Ball. This game, we have to know where we're putting stuff in order for this to work. So basically, and I know this can look complicated, red is basket, green is kid, blue are presenters. And when I say basket, I mean a literal basket. Don't think we're actually putting like a basketball hoop there. It's just a basket, okay? So we'll have a kid here and a kid here. The kids that are on stage are going to be blindfolded. So we will give them a legitimate blindfold. They'll be able to keep that blindfold. They'll wear it. And the goal is they'll have their back to the basket here. There'll be a basket here on the floor, and this kid will be handing this kid on stage. So imagine like 2 girls or 2 boys over on this side, 2 girls over on this side. Each side has their own basket. So the kid on the floor will be grabbing an object, handing it to the kid on stage. The kid who is blindfolded will try to throw backwards, trying to get objects into the basket. And they have 1 minute to do it. Whoever gets more objects in the basket wins. These objects, there will be a basketball, but the rest will be like ridiculous objects that we'll be throwing in. Like it might be glow sticks, there might be a candy bar. Like there's just going to be ridiculous stuff. Anything nonsensical that we can find, we can throw in there. Have a minute. At the end, whoever gets the most will get a prize. So, yeah, that is Basket the Ball. In terms of the lighting cues for that, there's a game intro, so lights are going to be kind of dark for that. But then there's a game loop. There's also a game start. There's a game end, which will hit as soon as like the game's over, and we'll stay on that until we announce a winner, and then we'll stay on that. Then there's a scoreboard check queue. That's not labeled in here right now, but that does exist. So there is a scoreboard check queue where we realize, oh no, the Goon Squad is ahead. After that, we'll be taking some of the stuff off, and the lights will actually go up and face directly towards the balcony for the announcements halftime show. So for this part, it will just be Alex and Zach, who will be our presenters up in the balcony. They'll have their own microphones up there the whole time, so they'll be set and ready to go. They will be doing some random announcements. So one of them will be like, we just love parents, and there's lighting cues with each one of these. One of them will be like, we love Super Soakers, because he'll keep grabbing out a Super Soaker and trying to spray everybody. And then there's an upward plug at the end, because we want to make sure that we're talking about upward and trying to get people involved in that. At the end of that, they will be like, all right, now I think it's time for the second half. Let's see like what's getting started. And then there'll be an intro for the game. During that intro, we can start getting some stuff set up for it. This third game is called Dunk It. This one will be messy. That is the entire goal of this, okay? So when you're looking at this, look at it just like it's a line here, okay? Now, we'll have two presenters. These two will be sitting on the stage on the edge here, and they will be wearing these basketball head hoops. It goes around the top of your head. It's got like a little like net in there, and it's not meant for how we're going to play this game, but it's going to be amazing. So over here, not baskets. Sorry, I mislabeled that. But what we will have are a table or two tables that have a big old thing of milk and big double like mega, I think it's like most stuffed Oreos. I think that's what they're called. So first kid here and here, they will both take an Oreo, dunk it in the milk, pass it to this person who will then dunk it on this person. And they have 1 minute. Whoever's able to dunk the most and deal with having their hands super messy will win. So we'll have these two people on stage that are doing this. We'll obviously have our two presenters up here that are adding some extra commentary and just reacting, adding some extra energy. Really, it's just if these two people are helping with the game, these two people are able to help out. We'll have to see exactly how it plays out. But these two people right here should be the people that are mainly presenting. We can have a Goon Squad member and a Toon Squad member just to make it more fun and more engaging. But that will be the whole premise of that game. Whoever wins and gets the most in a minute will get a prize. And the lighting cues will be very similar to the other one. There's a game loop. There's a start. After start, we'll hit end. As soon as it hits end, we'll hit like the red lights so that it's really clear. We want to be like crisp with that. And then there'll be a winner one. So at the end of that, and we're going to want to practice cleaning all that up so that we're quick with it. We'll have like a small little like moment. I apologize for not having it in there on this version, but it'll be in the version that you'll see. But there'll be a small moment where it'll show up with the scoreboard and it'll say like, oh no, like the Goon Squad's like, they're like ahead of us or whatever with like 1 second left. And then we'll have some type of funny moment where the Goon Squad member is like somehow fouls like one of like the Toon Squad member players. And that enables us to have a foul shot. But because it's Looney Tunes and all that nonsense, we can really stretch this. So what we'll do there is we'll say like, okay, wait, I think Corbin's got like a special message for us with what we're going to do for our foul shot. So then Corbin will come on screen. He will go through and talk about exactly what we're doing with that, how that's going down. And it basically is just the secret word. There's a person, a place, or a thing. I'll come out and I'll do a lesson. I'll talk about how Jesus is able to rescue us, very similar to like how Corbin feels like lost and whatever. We'll have a small thing that gets brought out on stage, just a stool with a few, just a glass cup and a Pepsi can with a little magic trick thing that I'm going to do. After that's over, I will cue it and I will say like, all right, well, now I think it's time for us to take our foul shot. So kind of similar to normal, we'll go through and just do like our normal like asking people. There'll be, whenever I say that, there'll be an intro, but we're not going to have a lighting cue with it. But just something to make it a little bit more epic with that moment. There will be a foul no and a foul yes lighting cue, as well as videos. There's 2 foul no's and 1 foul yes. The foul yes will go back and show the scoreboard and show that the Toon Squad won. After 30-ish seconds of them celebrating, that's when we move into skip part 3. There's going to be a countdown that shows up on the screen that will count down from 10, because we want to make it really quick. And then at the end of that 10-second mark, Corbin will come out and we'll be like, I can't believe I got saved. Thank you so much. After that point, Pastor Sarah will come out on stage and she will give directions for everybody to leave. She will dismiss in either by sections or some other fashion. But she will be the one to do that and say anything else that she feels that she needs to say at that point. After that, we won't be doing any activities. Everybody can go off stage, and we will have our post-service cartoon section where we're just playing cartoons up on the screen. So that is everything that we're planning on doing right now with the Trunk or Treat live show. I apologize for some of the things that might have been missing in here, but we're going to have all those things added as we keep going. So hopefully this helps and this gives some context of what it's going to look like whenever we do this entire Trunk or Treat live show. And I'm so excited that you're involved in it. So